You woke up to your ex-girlfriend standing over you with a meat cleaver. How would you react? You might scream, freeze, beg for your life, maybe even laugh. Well, after watching today's video, you'll know how to survive any situation. You'd better have a plan, because today we're looking at gruesome murders committed by lovers gone wrong. From a young age, we're taught that killing is wrong. But there are exceptions for those who kill in the heat of passion. They claim it was a crime of love. A prime example is Amanda Knox, who met her lover, Raphael in college. They became inseparable, but as time passed, their relationship started to fade. After graduating, Amanda enrolled in a master's degree, while Raphael chose to work. They began to drift apart and struggled to keep the romance alive. On November 2007, Amanda announced to friends that she had broken up with her boyfriend. 2 days later, both entered into new relationships. During the first week of December, Amanda and her new boyfriend, Paolo, were inseparable. However, fate had a cruel twist in store. On December 2nd, both Amanda and Paolo were caught stealing by security at a supermarket. Following the incident, they broke up. But a few days later, Paolo moved to London for a job opportunity. Heartbroken and lonely, Amanda reached out to Raphael. He was now dating another woman, but broke things off to reunite with Amanda. Yet things didn't go as planned. Again, Amanda ended their relationship after just a week. This time, she contacted her boss at Perugia University for support and moved into his home. Days passed until one evening when Amanda and her boss watched a movie in silence. Around midnight, the TV was switched off and the lights went out. When they went outside to check, they saw the power was out throughout the neighborhood. Both went back inside and locked themselves in a room. But soon enough, the lights flickered back on. When the boss left the room, he noticed his couch was covered in blood, and upon turning around, he saw Amanda holding a knife covered in blood. Standing next to her was the lifeless body of her former lover, Raphael. In the following hours, Amanda claimed her roommate, Rudy Gerber, was the real perpetrator, claiming they had met an Italian immigrant, Patrick Lumumba, at a pub. Patrick supposedly left the bar with them and brought them to the apartment. There, he attacked Solicito, robbed them, and then fled. While Amanda and Rudy argued about who should call the police, Patrick appeared again and threatened them. Afterward, he left, and they contacted the authorities. Despite these claims, police arrested Amanda and Rudy, and after careful examination of the evidence, they found inconsistencies in the story. First, the medical report mentioned that the victim had defensive wounds on his hands, indicating he fought back against his attacker. Additionally, Amanda's DNA was found under the victim's fingernails. Furthermore, surveillance footage showed her purchasing the very same knife used as the murder weapon, with the case stacked against them. Rudy changed his story, blaming Amanda alone and stating she acted in. Police found traces of Amanda's DNA on the victim's body, supporting Rudy's claim. Nonetheless, DNA experts pointed out that external factors could have led to contamination. Throughout the trial, Amanda maintained her innocence, insisting she had not killed her lover. On March 4, 2009, Amanda and Rudy were found guilty and sentenced to 26 years and 22 years respectively. Lumumba was acquitted due to lack of evidence. On March 2011, the Italian Supreme Court of Cassation overturned the convictions, citing insufficient evidence. Ultimately, on October 3, 2013, Amanda was finally cleared of all charges by the Italian Supreme Court of Cassation. Knox was able to return to the United States after spending 4 years behind bars. Despite being innocent, she faced a traumatizing ordeal and the loss of her former lover. Moving on, let's examine the chilling murder of Helen Duncan. Helen's abusive relationship with her lover, Angus Duncan, had become unbearable, so she ended their romance and moved to Dumfries to live with her friend, Margaret Wish. Soon enough, she found a new partner named Peter Kane. Sadly, their happiness didn't last long. On July 23, 1983, Peter tragically died from a heart attack at the age of 32. Helen was devastated by the sudden loss. After burying her beloved Peter just a week later, she encountered Angus again. He expressed his sorrow and offered his condolences, attempting to reconcile with her. Helen, however, refused, causing Angus to become enraged. On August 11th, Helen received a call from Angus, asking her to meet him at a secluded spot near their former home. Thinking it was urgent, she agreed. Upon arrival, she discovered a red petrol can and a white plastic sheet. Initially, Angus stated it was for a barbecue. Then he asked Helen to smell the can, which smelled faintly of petrol. Moments later, he struck her on the head with a hammer. After regaining consciousness, Helen realized Angus had forced her onto the sheet and doused her with petrol. He then lit a matchstick and threw it towards her, engulfing her in flames. In agony, Helen screamed for help. Locals rushed to assist her, extinguishing the fire and rushing her to the hospital. Meanwhile, Angus attempted to flee, but was apprehended by the police. During questioning, he confessed to the crime and was charged with attempted murder. However, he quickly pleaded not guilty. At trial, Helen testified about the horrific attack, including the conversation prior to the incident. The prosecution argued that Angus had intended to murder Helen, highlighting his violent history. Angus, however, claimed self-defense, alleging that Helen had attacked him first. On January 1984, Angus was convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 16 years. Moving on, let's look at the haunting murder of Suzanne. Suzanne had a toxic relationship with her boyfriend, Robert Wagner, characterized by cheating and physical abuse. Suzanne had 2 children, Danny and Cara, with her ex-husband, Wayne, but was also involved with a local businessman. Tragically, Suzanne's brother, Gary, discovered her lifeless body lying in a hallway. Upon closer inspection, he found a bullet hole in her head and 2 empty cartridge cases near her body. He then dialed 911 and reported the incident. While police investigated, Suzanne's son, Danny, visited his father. Concerned about his mother, Wayne found a handwritten note on Danny's desk mentioning her boyfriend, Michael. This led them to question Michael, who initially claimed he had seen Suzanne earlier that day, but denied knowing about the murder. However, during further questioning, Michael's story changed. He admitted to visiting Suzanne, but claimed that Robert had arrived unexpectedly, threatening to kill Michael. To protect himself, Michael drew his gun and accidentally shot Suzanne. He confessed that Robert, filled with anger, fled the scene. Police investigated Michael's claims and found that Suzanne was indeed pregnant with Michael's child. The investigation also revealed that Robert had assaulted Suzanne multiple times and had recently threatened to kill her. Unfortunately, the investigation came to a standstill. With limited resources and forensic capabilities at the time, they were unable to gather substantial evidence or track down Robert. Decades passed without answers, leaving Suzanne's family searching for justice. Fortunately, in 2017, the cold case was reopened with advancements in forensic technology. Investigators gathered DNA samples from key individuals, including Michael. The results excluded him from the crime, confirming his alibi. Eventually, Robert's DNA matched the evidence from the crime scene, proving his guilt. However, the statute of limitations prevented his prosecution. After 34 years, Suzanne's family finally had closure, knowing the truth behind her murder. Unfortunately, the primary suspect remains free due to legal technicalities. In conclusion, these cases serve as grim reminders of the dangers of toxic relationships. From passionate crimes to seeking revenge, these stories highlight the lengths some individuals will go to protect their love or settle a score. Remember, it's essential to prioritize safety and seek help if you find yourself in a harmful relationship. Each of these cases is a unique story of love, obsession, betrayal, and murder. The motives behind these crimes are as varied as the individuals involved, some driven by the desire for revenge, others blinded by love and jealousy. Regardless of the reason, the impact on the victims and their families is immeasurable. These cases remind us of the complexities of human relationships and the devastating consequences that can arise when love turns deadly. We've reached the end of another gripping video. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.